Anand Tandon is still with us. Anand, do you think that 2023 will be way more bottom-up than all the other years? Because that's what everyone's saying, that it'll be a little more difficult this year to, just paint everything with a broad brush. If that is the case, then what are the specific sectors that you're looking at?
So first of all, I have a different view. I think it will be more macro than micro.
Okay.
For the simple reason that the major trigger that you are anticipating is the fact that the increase that the move out of the US will actually help emerging markets, and the case being made is that among emerging markets, given India's increased weight now, we will continue to have a lot of flows. Do remember that when you have foreign inflows, they are largely top down. You are going to look at large cap companies, not small and mid cap companies. And within the domestic market, I would expect to see, I'd be very surprised if you don't have a slowdown in terms of mutual fund flows into equities, largely, as I argued before, because of a shift towards debt. So as a consequence, if you are largely dependent on the foreign investor trying to make the market at the margin, you are going to have a top-down kind of approach. That said, it doesn't mean you cannot figure out sectors, as I have been talking about, basically domestic sectors which are based on farms. I would argue that some of the beaten down export sectors like pharma, etc., which have not attracted any attention for a while, are also something that one may want to look at. And there is an expectation that, again, things like two-wheelers, etc., which have gone up, which haven't done at all anything in terms of volume or price, are also potentially investable. Infrastructure, which everybody else is rather bullish on, I think I would be a little more careful, largely because of the fact that we will be entering into the last 12 months before the election. And I think the amount of money that the government can spend is towards infrastructure as opposed to towards welfare schemes, is likely to bend a little more towards welfare schemes. Even in the current year, infrastructure, though it has been much talked about, if you actually see the spend, it has been fairly slow, both at the state and central levels.
Okay. What about this whole reopening theme, Anand, which has played out quite well for, a lot of sectors? Going forward, anything that you like, whether it's aviation or hotels, something like, cinemas, PVR, anything on your radar?
In my view, most of those things have been played out. If you are at all looking at reopening, the expectation is reopening of China. And from that perspective, there is some activity towards most commodities. I would argue again that, other than perhaps aluminum, most of the other commodities are not likely to see a great uptick because of China. If at all you want to be, for example, in metals, I would still prefer something like silver rather than, let's say, a steel.
Anand, stay on. We'll just take a short break, come back, continue our conversation. And as we take that short break, let's also tell you what's lined up on the show for the next half an hour. We bring you the top stock picks for the day from our technical and F&O experts. And then at around 9 a.m., Anuj Singhal will join in for a quick trade setup. Following him, Prashant will obviously bring you the Market Laser, a segment where we analyze stocks and sectors through a technical lens. At 9:10, Nimesh will be there with the standout